So we're doing a deep dive today
Uh-huh.
into a collection of fables called Owl's Fables.
Yeah.
Um, and you had sent these over to me, and
Mhm.
I gotta say, I really enjoyed reading through these.
Oh, good.
They're deceptively simple.
Right.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, they're short,
Yeah,
but they really get you thinking.
definitely.
I think that's the hallmark of a good fable, right?
Yeah, and they stick with you.
Totally.
I found myself thinking about these
Mhm.
hours later.
Yeah.
So I thought we'd dive in
Okay, sounds good.
and talk about a few of them with our listeners.
All right, let's do it.
So the first one that stood out to me was the Whispering Willow.
Hmm.
And this fable features a bird that's seeking shelter,
Okay.
right? It's out in a storm.
Yeah.
It's tired, its wings are heavy,
Right.
and it's looking for a place to rest.
Makes sense.
And it comes upon this willow tree.
Mm-hmm.
And at first it seems like a safe haven.
Yeah, you get that sense of relief, right? Like, oh, thank goodness, shelter from the storm.
Totally, yeah.
But then there are these little hints that maybe things aren't quite what they seem.
Exactly. Like it mentions there are no other birds
Right.
in the willow.
Yeah, that's a little strange.
You know,
I think there would be.
yeah, and there's this whispering sound.
Yeah, the wind through the branches.
Yeah, and it kind of creates this sense of unease.
Yeah, that's almost like a warning.
Right, and it made me think about
How?
how important it is to look beyond the surface.
Absolutely.
You know, like when something seems too good to be true.
Especially online, right? I mean, think about how many times you've
Yeah.
come across something online
Definitely.
that seemed really inviting, like a great community. But then you realize
Yeah.
there are all these hidden rules or agendas.
Yeah, that's such a good point.
You have to be careful.
Yeah, I mean, but it doesn't, the fable doesn't, like, condemn the willow.
Right. It's not black and white.
Yeah, like, could it be seen as a protector in a way?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, the branches are tightened around the bird,
Right.
shielding it from the storm.
Almost like a mother's embrace,
Yes.
but a little too tight.
Yes.
A little suffocating.
Yeah, so it's this complex,
Uh-huh.
situation.
Definitely. And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
Yeah.
It makes you think about those trade-offs we make,
Mm-hmm.
between security and freedom.
Yeah.
How much are we willing to give up to feel safe?
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's something we all grapple with, I think.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Sure.
The Sculptor and the Marble.
Okay.
Now, this one really hit home for me.
Oh, yeah. Why is that?
Well, it's about this sculptor who's obsessed
Uh-huh.
with creating this masterpiece.
Okay.
And he has this beautiful piece of marble,
Right.
but he keeps chipping away at it,
Mm-hmm.
trying to perfect it.
Yeah, trying to achieve his vision.
But in doing so, he actually destroys the inherent beauty
Oh, wow.
of the marble.
So it backfires.
Yes. And at the end, all he's left with
Mm-hmm.
is this pile of dust.
It's like that saying, right?
Yeah.
The perfect is the enemy of the good.
Exactly. And it got me thinking,
Yeah.
is it pride that's driving the sculptor?
That's a good question.
Or is it maybe a lack of confidence
Interesting.
in his own vision?
I think it could be both.
Yeah.
It's like he's trying to force the marble
Yeah.
to be something it's not
Right.
instead of appreciating its natural beauty.
Exactly. And, how often do we do that
Right.
in our own lives?
All the time.
Yeah, we try to fix things that aren't broken.
Yeah. We try to control things that are perfectly fine as they are.
Right. And we end up causing more harm than good.
It's like that old proverb
Yeah.
about the oak tree and the reed.
Oh, yeah.
The oak tree is strong and rigid,
Uh-huh.
but it breaks in the wind.
Yeah.
The reed bends with the wind and survives.
Yeah. That's a great analogy.
Sometimes the best course of action is to just let things be.
Yeah. To appreciate what we have.
Exactly.
Instead of always striving for something more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so moving on
Yeah.
to The Nightingale and the Echo.
Okay.
Now, this one is all about self-expression,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So there's this nightingale
Mm-hmm.
that sings this beautiful song.
Okay.
And at first, its echo seems like a harmonious companion.
Like a duet partner.
Yeah. But then the echo starts to want more.
Uh-oh.
It wants to outlast the nightingale.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, it becomes this kind of unsettling presence.
Wow.
And it made me think about
Mm-hmm.
the dangers of seeking external validation.
Right, like needing that constant approval from others.
Exactly what happens when the applause fades.
Exactly what happens when the echo stops.
Right.
You're left with silence.
Yeah, and I think that's a really powerful message,
It is.
especially in today's world.
With social media and all that.
Yeah, where it's so easy to get caught up
Yeah.
in likes and followers.
Yeah, it's a trap.
But, I was also thinking,
Yeah,
couldn't the echo also be seen as a form of feedback?
it's a good point.
Maybe the nightingale could learn something
Right.
from hearing its song reflected back.
Maybe refine its technique.
Exactly.
Right.
Or even create a richer melody.
Yeah, like a collaboration.
Yes,
I
exactly.
think that's key, right?
Yeah.
It's not about rejecting all feedback.
Yeah.
It's about discerning between
Right.
genuine collaboration
Mm.
and a need to just be echoed.
Yeah, that's a good distinction.
I think the nightingale's true power
Uh-huh.
lies in its unique voice,
Right.
its authentic expression.
That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the mask and the man.
Okay, this one's a little darker.
Yeah, it's kind of unsettling. It's about this man
Yeah.
who wants to present this perfect image to the world.
Like hiding behind a facade.
Exactly. And so he puts on this mask,
Uh-huh.
but then the
Yeah.
mask starts to take control,
Oh, no.
starts dictating his emotions.
That's creepy.
It becomes the opposite of his true feelings.
So he loses himself.
Yeah, and it made me think about
Yeah.
the pressure we feel
Mm-hmm.
to project this perfect image online.
Oh, totally.
It's like we're all wearing masks,
Yeah, on social media.
trying to curate this highlight reel of our lives.
And it's exhausting.
Yes, it is, and it can be really damaging
Absolutely.
because we lose touch with who we really are.
Right, we become disconnected from our true selves.
Okay, so the final fable we're going to talk about
Okay.
is The Lighthouse in the Fog.
All right.
And this one takes a different approach.
How so?
It's not about hiding.
Uh-huh.
It's about confronting reality,
Okay.
even when it's uncomfortable.
I like that.
Yeah, so the lighthouse is this symbol of strength.
Yeah, a beacon of light.
Right, but then the fog rolls in
Mm.
and it obscures the light.
So the lighthouse becomes vulnerable.
Yeah, and the fog says this really interesting line.
Oh, what's that?
It says, "I only show what is truly there."
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah, it's like a wake-up call.
Right. The fog is forcing the lighthouse to face reality.
Exactly, and the lighthouse is clinging
Ooh.
to this illusion of invincibility.
Yeah. Denial can be comforting
Yeah, but ultimately it leads to its destruction.
because it can't see the danger.
Right, and I think that's such a powerful metaphor
It is.
for how we often avoid difficult truths.
We stay in our comfort zones.
Yeah, even when it's to our detriment.
I think we all do that to some extent.
Yeah, I know I do.
That's human nature.
So yeah, these fables,
Yeah.
they're deceptively simple,
Right.
but they offer these profound insights.
They really make you think.
Yeah, they invite us to look deeper,
To question our assumptions.
to make choices that align with our truest selves.
To face the fog.
Exactly, and I think that's a great takeaway
It is.
for our listeners.
What do you think the main message is?
I think it's about awareness.
Yeah.
Awareness of our motivations,
Hmm.
the consequences of our actions,
Right.
the layers beneath surface appearances.
That's good.
Yeah, and I think Owl's Fables reminds us
Yeah.
that wisdom often comes in the simplest of forms.
Like a fable.
Exactly.
Or a deep dive.
Or a deep dive.
All right. Well, that was fun.
It was, yeah, thanks for sharing these with me.
Of course, anytime.
And thanks to our listeners for joining us
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
for another deep dive.
Into the unknown. Bye.
Bye.